Welcome back, everyone. I hope you have been able to solve the practice opportunity. Let me walk you through the question and the solution. Again, if you scroll to the end of the notebook, you should be able to find the practice opportunity solution here. And what I've done is I've included a screenshot of the feedback for both tokenizers. And actually, we're going to go ahead and show you that in live right now. So here I ask you to first copy the first example here. And of course, if you'd like to see the text here behind this, what we call the markdown cell. So if you're new to Jupyter notebooks, basically this cell we call it a markdown cell. It's just a bunch of text. This here is a code cell. So if you actually click here, you should be able to see code. If you click here, you should be able to see markdown. So if you actually double click on the markdown cell, you should be able to see here how this kind of cell is formatted behind the scenes. So for example, to convert this into like a bold, you need to add 2 asterisks in the beginning and 2 asterisks here at the end, and so on. So what I could do here is I can just go ahead, copy this, and I'm just gonna say Control C. I'm gonna go back to the tokenizer here. I'm gonna remove this, and I'm just gonna paste this one, okay? So I'm gonna say, explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. And if you go to text here, you should be able to see how this sentence has been tokenized. So for example, explain on its own, space the became one token, space difference became another token, space between another, and so on. And of course, these are the token IDs. So if you count them, you will find that here we got 13 tokens, and they are around 74 characters approximately. Okay, that's cool. Next, I can go ahead, and if you remember, I showed you another example, and this example is, think of it as more of the polite version of the previous one, which had please, thank you, and so on. So now I can go back, and I can paste that here, Control V, and here we go. Now you should be able to see that, well, OpenAI has to deal with please and thank you. They're not gonna remove it, right? So please became a token, thank you became 2 additional tokens, and there is a dot here at the end as well. So now you should be able to see the overall number of tokens became 17 because of our politeness. Okay, so if you actually go back here, if you wanna go and run this cell, if you press Shift and Enter, that is gonna get shifted back, that markdown cell, to its final format. Okay. So here, of course, I ask you, okay, what sentence had a higher number of tokens? Of course, the answer is obvious, which is example number 2, because, well, it had more text in its input. And here, if you actually click on this link, that was going to direct you to one of the cool articles here. It basically states that Sam Altman admits that saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is wasting millions of dollars in computing power. Because, well, all of this input has to be converted into tokens, and then they have to be sent to the API. And of course, all these models are running on GPUs, and they are consuming a lot of electricity and a lot of energy and so on. And we're going to have as well a lot of discussions coming up next on how these GPUs, what type of GPUs that we need to run and so on. So don't worry about that. And with that, that's all I have for this practice opportunity. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video.